are rallying behind Tommaso at the Basis School.
Okay, welcome in, guys. Welcome in on this Thursday.
Tommaso.
It's about 10:38 or so. We are in Tucson, Arizona. We got some new update on Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. That's now 12 days old. We're listening to live streamer JLR Investigates on this later morning hours of Thursday. What do we know? We're going to go down the timeline. We got some new updates on the DNA and also the backpack of the local Walmart. We're going to go over some of those details as well as we speak, this very moment, we are with JLR Investigates and other media have taken off from Nancy Guthrie's house for the moment, and they are driving now to Tommaso and Annie's home. That's right, again. So come on in, let's talk for a little bit, guys. I'm in between taking care of the homeless, so we can't forget about the homeless here in Las Vegas. And then I'm going to try to bring as much as I possibly can through today, as I very much can do. And Maribel, we haven't decided. We might go there and over the weekend and see how we can help and give you guys some right on the view. What's going on? Hello, moderators Janine and Crystal. Appreciate you guys being there. Okay, so right now, I have a video I want you guys to watch, but right now, this just broke. I was going to show you a video, but I want to go here and just show you what's going on here. So, whoop, as soon as I break, they got an ad. So as soon as I show the camera, they have an ad. So I cannot show the ad. So just bear with me, guys. Just bear with me. I got iPads, TV, laptop ready to go.
Other media journalists' perspective.
Updates. Okay. So tell you what, right now, let's turn the camera. And then I'm going to go over some updates. Let me put Crystal's pin that real quick. That's in there. All right. So I'm going to lower JLR. He's driving courtesy of JLR Investigates. Now, here's what we have. He's driving now supposedly to the home of Tommaso. Okay, that's where he's going, Tommaso's house. What do we know? Hold on one second, guys. I guess got a tip here. 1 second. Just hang in there and chat among each other real quick. All right. So, yeah, they're going to Tommaso. All right. Here's what we know. As we speak, welcome in. We know some updates on the glove. So, right now, what I'm hearing is they're going to very well come out today at some point, could be in the next hour while we're doing this live or later, of the DNA of the gloves. No fingerprints, but DNA. And will those DNA match up with the thumbnail that we see over and over? Okay. They have pretty much ruled out anybody fishy like a police or security guard who did this, according to the sources of the CSI investigation detectives. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera around here. Let's see. Hold on. So what do we know? FBI, I think, right now knows exactly who this suspect is. I think right now, I know the FBI at this very moment, guys. I'm not just saying this. Know who this person is. They just got to be very, very careful. That's why there's no press conferences, because they're pretty confident. If they didn't know, there would be a press conference. They're getting very close. What we are knowing is this. Here's the new information. This is kind of bizarre. Where's my notes? On January 11th. January 11th. Let's stay focused on this one thing, and you guys can chat among each other. January 11th, this is big. The FBI said there's a video that they're concerned of on January 11th. They're concerned. They were asking the neighbors, everybody who has a Ring doorbell or any kind of video surveillance, whether it's local cable, video, to hand that over now, to go back on January 11th we're asking all neighbors, can you do us a favor today in your busy day? And they're like, okay, what do you want us to do? Go back to January 11th. What is January 11th? Well, I just don't know, but they know. They're assuming that January 11th, somehow or another, that person, that taller person with those big gloves, those boxing gloves, or as Crystal, our moderator, said last night, police gloves. By the way, they have ruled out any kind of fishy play with the police department. I just want to put that out there. That's not me. That's what the CSI say. Now, I'm assuming that January 11th to today, or when they found the gloves 2 days ago, today's Thursday, Tuesday, February 10th, they got a match. So that January 11th is who was walking on that dark street? Who? Or around that neighborhood that goes around. So they're looking at January 11th, Ring doorbell, whatever hell kind of video surveillance they have. They're taking a very close look at January. That's new. Also the backpack. They seen another subject with a very similar backpack. I'm hoping they will. I'm sure we're going to see it while we're live. Right now, I'm looking at JLR. He's driving around. If that person with that backpack that they seen on earlier surveillance, I believe it was today, then they have a huge break in this case, and may very well today or tomorrow morning have a suspect. Remember, as Mike, our moderator, said last night, it's an Ozark Trail hiker. Ozark. It's a camping backpack. I used to have one, Ozark, and you could stuff things in easier. It has little pockets inside. So that backpack is also now. They're looking at all the receipts. Appreciate you guys being here. Was it a credit card? We talked about this. Cash. I would assume it was cash, or they had a stolen credit card. Now, what else we know is this. I'm going to go over, guys. I know a lot of you on this vertical live are coming in and out, maybe not following this real close. We got a lot else news going on today with ICE, but I'm staying on this case. I'm going to be staying on this case. At 9:48 p.m., a family member dropped off Nancy Guthrie. Now, the sheriff said it was Tommaso, but they're being very careful, the FBI. They're saying family member now. There's a reason why they're saying family member. We'll go over that. At 9:50, that's 2 minutes later. 2 minutes later, the garage door opens up. 9:48, Nancy walks in the house. Good night, Mom. Whoever it might be. I got to be very careful. We do. It could be Tommaso. It could be a family member. 2 minutes later, garage doors closes. Once that closes, that was the last time they seen Mom. LGBT for Trump. Appreciate you guys being here. Now, this is really important. At 1:47 a.m., 1:47, they got an exact time now. Remember, it was 1:48, 1:49, 1:47, 1:47 a.m. The doorbell camera disconnects. Completely disconnects at 1:47 a.m. So let's go back. We'll go back. 9:50, garage door closes. Now you got from 9:50 to 1:47, that doorbell being disconnected. So we know that this woman, elderly, probably went to bed. You eat, you drive home, falls asleep 11 o'clock, 11:30, watched a little TV, whatever. By the way, no blood anywhere in the house. That's also been out. No blood anywhere in the house. The only blood is out on the step. And by the way, we're going to talk about that white tent that was out there today. Anybody hear about the white tent? I'm going to go over why that white tent was out there. So something in between then we know what happens at the end. all this is where we're at right now. And I'm not going to get into all what I think because it's just too, I know a lot of people can't stand exactly what happened to Nancy. Now, right now, I'm looking at the TV. I got Fox on. I got CNN on. I got all news outlets on. We'll be covering this for a little bit, and then I'm off to, I have an important meeting regarding the homeless. Break in there with that. I can't forget about that. And I also got to go out and help the homeless. So that's where we are at. They have not found Nancy. Have some coffee with me if you like, or some tea or soda, whatever you enjoy. I will give you, this is JLR. He's driving. I thought he was driving to Tommaso, but I think he still is.
He's home.
This is a little bit of the area. You get a little bit of perspective of the Tucson, Arizona. By the way, speaking of homeless, there is, according to JLR and other media coverage, around this area, as is $1 million area, you have a homeless community. And why I bring that up is not, well, a couple reasons. Well, we help out the homeless here. But another reason I'm going to bring this up, and this is very important. Hold on, guys. I just got a message. Wait a minute. Bear with me, guys. I got an important update here. Just something just came in here. Okay, hold on one second. My meeting has been canceled. Shoot. Okay, they just canceled my meeting. Guys, hold on. Let me just get my thoughts together here. Please bear with me. 1 second. Yeah, I have a feeling that somebody watched me or is watching me live and wants me to cover this story. But I really want to go to this meeting too. I mean, I really care about what's happening, but we have to. I had an important meeting regarding the homeless today. It was a big break on trying to get some non-funding guys for the homeless. I have a bunch of clients who are very wealthy and they were going to, anyhow, that meeting has been canceled. Just give me 1 second to gather my thoughts here and wait for a return from a message. Tell you what, I'm going to turn the camera around. You guys can chat among each other. This is JLR Investigates. He's driving around. Guys. All right. So let me focus here a little bit with you guys here. Only on lives, guys. We'll get through it. I was really looking forward to that meeting. That's why I was all dressed up. All right, back to this. So there's a homeless community around here, and I bring that up for a couple reasons. Number one, another reason is they were thinking maybe it was a homeless glove, you know, because, you know, homeless people have the intent to leave trash and gloves and that kind of stuff around. Well, it's been determined that, it's been, to my best of my knowledge, it was not a homeless glove, that it's very well something from the crime scene. So it's a glove that they're assuming it was now either from the person who allegedly, who did this crime, or somebody playing games. You know, somebody planted that glove. So it's down to that. They ruled out a homeless. I don't know how they ruled out the homeless area. By the way, there is a homeless area not too far from this area. Okay, I know that you're looking at a beautiful area, but within a mile or a half, there's a homeless community. I just wanted to bring that out to everybody who did not know. Not that it has anything to do with the case. Well, it does, because, you know, they always sometimes look at a homeless community sometimes because you're dealing with mental illness, and sometimes homeless will be involved. But I can tell you this, guys, I'm like 98% that person we're seeing at the door was no homeless person. It was somebody who knew exactly what they were doing. And again, this was planned from, I believe, many months. Sorry you guys are getting dizzy, but he's doing the best he can here to give us a little bit of perspective of what's going on as I wait for my text to come back in. I'll turn. I can't turn too much volume up, guys, even though it's a, he's JLR is a stand-up journalist, YouTuber. I don't want to have his voice and my voice combined together, and then YouTube, you know, it gives me a problem. But he is driving around. I thought originally he was going to go back to the sister's house, Annie and Tomasi. This is Tucson, Arizona, right here. Here's the streets here, Las Lomanitas, I think it was. All right, what do we got here? Hold on. Hold on. Fox is on. Hold on.
Nancy's neighbors tells Fox News she received a Ring app alert that said investigators are asking neighbors to submit footage from January 11th and January 31st in an effort to help through the investigation. Joining us on scene from Tucson, Arizona is Josh Ritter, Fox News contributor and former LA County Deputy District Attorney who has over 20 years experience working hand in hand with law enforcement on cases just like this. Joshua, what's the latest there?
Well, this is a great development to hear about. What this is they are able to, through the services of things like Ring and Nest, make a request that turns up on the app of the different users and just allows them to accept that, yes, you can access our video, whatever video we have on the dates that you're looking into, without investigators needing to go out and get a warrant. So it just speeds up the investigatory process. We're seeing a lot of momentum, quite actually. Even though we're not hearing a lot from law enforcement, we're seeing momentum. And one of the things I'd like to highlight, I haven't heard people talk about a lot, is how this recent surveillance tape that we've seen from the home of the suspect can be used in conjunction with the DNA that they've recovered. We know that they have DNA that's unidentified.
Interesting. Wow.
Swabs from different individuals.
Can you guys hear? Okay.
That you can do with DNA than just match it to a person. It's better than.
Can you guys hear? Yes or no?
You can actually, from DNA, determine the gender of a person, the ethnic background of a person, hair color, eye color. They can use that information to cross-check it against what they already know about the suspect with this video to start ruling out some of this DNA that they might have collected without even getting a positive match to someone. So it's a lot of progress. They're still working very hard. They have a lot of resources dedicated towards this, but I'm very hopeful that we might get a break in this sometime soon.
Incredible. Josh, thank you so much. And we will obviously be talking to you all day as we stay with this so closely. More Outnumbered in just a moment.
Okay. So we're going to go back and forth. Guys, we're going to be, well, I guess the good news, guys, the good news is I will be here for a long time here today. Let me just make sure I'm powered up here. You're going to see my fingers. I apologize, but I have to, only way I can do. Okay, so we're charged up that very quickly. I want to make sure we're charged. Okay, once again, guys, let me just, I have a breaking news information here coming in. We will be covering this ongoing case. Let me just turn the camera. That is JLR Investigates. I will turn the camera. Well, what do we know? I want to bring everybody up to date while we wait for, so this Ozark. Hello, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're at. We've had so many new subscribers and viewers last night from Bahamas, all over the world. The whole world's watching this case. So the key is on this January 11th, as the Fox panel just said. January 11th, the FBI is looking into. I am assuming that January 11th, there is a video of the similar suspect that we see over and over at the front door, that they pretty much ruled out law enforcement, because I guess, like I said, they were maybe even thinking it could have been a setup from local law enforcement. They ruled that out. They are looking pretty much at this January 11th to compare to February 10th, the day of that person I think is a man. That's my opinion. Man, somebody relatively taller than me, I'm sure. So they are now going to go to neighbors' homes. They already have, asking them nicely, please turn over your video doorbell surveillance and Google to the authorities so we can compare, what they know from the January 11th of somehow suspect similar eyes that are connected with the suspect. Speaking of eyes, they've said multiple times now, good morning, that this Carlos guy from Rio, where was that at? Rio something, what was that? Rio, that they drove 45 minutes at the road stop there and went through his car. They're pretty much ruled him out. He is not involved in this. So they're pretty confident at this point that he is ruled out. Now, I'm going to give you what I think they should have done. I spoken to a friend of mine who I smoke cigars with. He's an FBI agent. For privacy, of course, I won't give out his name. He said this. He doesn't understand why there wasn't yellow tape surrounding Nancy's house, the whole house, from day one when the sheriff had arrived to Nancy Guthrie's home when a family member said, she is missing. Mama is missing. He says, it's so amateur. Why there wasn't yellow tape around the whole house? How did a pizza get delivered to JLR, who investigates? By the way, was not his fault. Let me just be clear. He did not order the pizza. This young man or this YouTuber who's excellent coverage, does excellent job, was just reporting. He has passion to report. One of his subscribers, just like if I was there or anybody else, had a beautiful heart and wanted to feed him and the authorities or the media. But my point is this. Domino's Pizza comes just driving in, not just as a media coverage. He drives through, hello, I got pizza. The sheriff didn't even question him. JLR, who investigates here, that we're watching a little bit of his footage, he asks him because he has a little bit of energy, and he says, who's the pizza for? Do you know what this is? He goes, I think so. It's Nancy Guthrie. He and JLR himself. You can't make this up, folks. You cannot. Are you? And I'm not going to give you his real name, but he said his real name, and then he realized it was him. And then he said, JLR, it's one of your subscribers. Oh, that's me. But my point, guys, let's not miss the point. How in the world did the Domino's Pizza car, I'm assuming was a car, I never seen it, go down this street right here where all the media is set up and the detectives and FBI and use this address? And I'm not pointing fingers at the subscribers. Please don't read through me. How did it happen? How did the authorities let the pizza? It's one thing the pizza got ordered, right? We can't stop that, maybe. But how the hell did the pizza drive down these roads where you had almost 200 media coverage, FBI detectives, sheriff, people, you know, how? I'm not saying that street should be blocked off. What I'm saying is there should be somebody saying, this is under an investigation. Unless you're a media coverage or independent journalist, you are not allowed on this street. Yes or no? So that's another mistake. Now, nothing happened. Why am I bringing it up? I'm bringing it up because of this. He breaks for a commercial, and I don't want to get any kind of ad problems. I'm saying this, we're going to go to Fox. I'm saying this because that is a big mistake. Because if they can allow a pizza guy to go by, who else went by? Who else could have dropped off that glove? A little ironic that that glove was found after the video. I'm saying this. Okay? I still think, in my opinion, that glove was dropped off after. Somebody planted that glove, but I can be 100% wrong. All right, let me see here. I got to get some coffee. I'm going to need some coffee today. All right, we're back to the glove. We're back to Fox.
Out potential suspects. That tent went up around 8 a.m. Tucson time. A number of investigators showed up, erected this covering over Nancy's front door. It was only up for an hour, but in that time, we saw individuals coming and going. What an FBI expert told Fox Digital appears to be forensic equipment. Remember, Nancy's...
Okay, so see that tent, guys? That tent was up for a while. I thought the tent was up because they thought there was a chance of rain coming in and they didn't want that blood to be, but they were just doing, they were doing some work in that tent that they didn't want any media. Basically, that's it in English.
Front porch is also where the sheriff's department confirmed her blood was found. The New York Post reports agents found a black glove resembling the one worn by the person on Nancy's door cam footage. That was located a little less than a mile and a half from her home. Fox News has sources saying it was 2 gloves. Either way, DNA testing is being done on that find. And around 2 o'clock this morning, the sheriff's forensics team was searching in the brush not far from this house. Fox News can confirm one of Nancy's neighbors received an alert on her Ring app that investigators were requesting video footage from 2 specific times, on January 11th between 9 and midnight, and from January 31st between 9:30 and 11. Fox has seen the alert, and it does not specify AM or PM for that January 31st date. Couple of things. That Ring app alert also mentions a suspicious vehicle around 10 a.m. on the day that Nancy Guthrie was last seen. So keep that in mind. One other thing. We talked to a public information officer with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. They said that they did not make that request for those specific dates, that it was done by a civilian. But again, that alert says that investigators were asking for it. So make of that what you will. We're still trying to get clarification ourselves.
Well, it could be that somebody's just trying to be a good neighbor and trying to help out the investigation. Hopefully we'll get some more information on that. Alicia, thank you. Sandra?
All right, so Paul Morrow is joining us now. He's a retired NYPD inspector and a Fox News contributor. Paul, welcome to you. So the latest is that we saw the Pima County Sheriff's Department and this forensic team searching the brush just off the road near Nancy Guthrie's home. What is the goal there? What is it exactly are they looking for?
Well, I think that it's obvious they're looking for any more detritus that the perp may have discarded, excuse me, on the way out. We've gotten these gloves, and so that may have incentivized them to the idea that as he was driving, he was trying to rid himself of inculpatory evidence, that is, stuff that could maybe be used against him. My understanding is that they were driving the route around where the glove was to see if, as he drove, he was throwing stuff out the window. And of course, they had drones up over the desert where the gloves were found to see if, in fact, he had walked out into the desert to maybe get rid of evidence and drop the glove or gloves. They also have out here now BORTAC members. That's the sort of SWAT members of the Border Patrol. And they're doing canvas. And the thing that's significant about that is that they know how to track in the desert, which is a unique skill that not a whole lot of police departments can deploy. So you have that. And here's another interesting fact. A lot of the area around here is actually Indian reservation.
Oh,
Native American
interesting. Listen to this.
So my understanding is that they have liaised with some of the Indian reservation authorities as well, who know this terrain better than anybody in the world.
Okay.
Okay, so Paul, as far as the geographic location of all of this, our team put together a map here, basically showing the location of Nancy Guthrie's home to where the gloves were found, and also that search area, that section of North Campbell Avenue where we saw the agents searching.
That's where, right there, right there.
Now, when it comes to this requested
Right here, guys.
Ring footage that they're asking the neighbors for, it can be quite puzzling to the public who's watching this timeline, because they've asked neighbors for 2 specific windows of time. One was January 11th, 9 to midnight. The other January 31st between 9:30 and 11 a.m. But the January 11th timeframe, Paul, tell us why this is of importance, because that's 3 weeks before the 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie went missing.
So one of the things we should recognize is that in a large task force, and I just enumerated a number of the agencies that are in this, and then there's, of course, the FBI, Pima County Sheriffs, etc. You have sometimes a little bit of slippage at the edges as to what is being asked for and what is being put out through the public information officer. So it's not necessarily that anybody is trying to hide the ball or anything like that, but sometimes at the edges, not everything gets funneled up the way it can and should be. And so maybe an aspect of the task force asked for the information, and that's why the press officer didn't know about it. Why they would ask? Almost certainly because it tracks to something like a 911 call or some logging of disturbance. Maybe somebody put it out in an app, the neighbor app, or one of these things that they have, saying, hey, I caught somebody in my backyard, or I got some strange movement in my backyard and wasn't an animal. I see a shadow, something like that. There's a lot of animals out here. So the people out here have these animal cameras, but they can discern between people and animals. It definitely tracks, I would say, to an incident that somebody else had that a judge is similar enough to what occurred here, even if it's just that an unknown person approached the house in a similar way.
Some of the images are just puzzling to see where this investigation is going, Paul. I'll ask you about these images and what appear to be members of the FBI's Video Forensic Analysis Unit. They would be coming out of Huntsville, Alabama, Paul. They arrived earlier this morning. The box that they're carrying, you tell us, but apparently we're learning it's an Ultra Studio 4K Mini, a professional video capture, and a playback device.
Wow, look at this, guys.
Made by Black Magic Design.
Ultra Studio 4K Mini.
These images.
Look at this.
So I've gotten two stories here on the ground, and I'm going to be clear. I don't know which one is accurate. First of all, they put that tent up in front in order to take the video, and I assume that they were taking the video. I've come back to the idea that it's not an extraction device. I thought it was, but apparently it's going, or they were maybe filming something inside the house. I think it is tracks to that tent that was up. They did what they did and they left. What's inside of there? Well, obviously we know that that's where the perp was. Two things. The blood droplets is one of the stories that I'm hearing. They were doing a much more minute filming and examination of the blood droplets that we know were found in that vestibule. The other thing is the following, and we saw that there's that height chart. The way the precise, by now they definitely have had a pretty good idea of the height. But apparently the way that new technology, and this is subsequent to when I was working at least, they use lasers in order to really, really pinpoint precise height of a suspect. And in this case, the glare out here is really extreme. You can see me squinting now. So they put up the tent. This is my read. They put up the tent.
They're talking about the tent, guys. White tent earlier.
What they do in order to discern an exact height, and that's why you see that height board being carried as one of them comes out. And remember something, they've already picked up who they thought was a possible the other night. Well, if you can get a precise height, and then you can do the same on him, you can either include him in or wash him out. And they can do that with others as well. So a very precise height as opposed to a range could be very valuable here.
Thank you for clarifying that. We were all sort of wondering why there wasn't more advanced technology for these investigators to use to determine that person who approached the front door's height. Any interior designer or contractor knows, you can walk in a room with a laser app and figure out the heights and widths of a lot of things. Paul, thank you. That's a lot of information.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
My team.
All right, hold on.
My team assisted with the information.
I'm gonna lower that. They're off to another. All right. So, boy, that was a lot, guys. What do you think by the panel there? Retired detective FBI. That was a lot to take in. A lot. So we're back. The search is on, folks. Come on in. The search is on, and I would assume they're going to put out volunteers to search this area. When I say this area, I'm going to assume they're going to go ahead and search probably a 5-6 mile range for Nancy's either body or evidence that can lead to solving this case. Because, you're going to need evidence, but you're also going to need a body. You're also going to need a body. So they're out there looking for both. So we're going to bring everybody up to date. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm just going to turn the camera over here. And I keep looking at this box. That's a water box, it looks like to me.
Hear that? It sounds like a hissing.
Don't know. Look like a water, one of those, either a water box or,
It might be
for like a drip system or something. I don't know.
Well, don't step on my property. Be careful. I mean, it's easement, but
Let me make it clear, guys. He's not on the property of Nancy. I just want to point that out. This is an area that's in between the homes of Nancy Guthries.
I'm like, yo, you don't want to do it. And I'm not trying to be a Karen in there. I just don't want to see people get in trouble.
All right. Interesting on that. Excuse me. I got to get some water. Ozark bag.
Air Force buddies.
Really,
Shout out to the.
they're really looking at this Ozark Trail hiker. And you hear what he said? The height of the person. I think we're getting close. I do. I think we're getting very close. At least I think we're getting close on some DNA and piecing that DNA together. I like to look at it as a puzzle. You know, we thought we had that puzzle that was one piece away when we go back to February 10th with Carlos. But that, forget it. Water over the dam. That's done. Let's forget about the Carlos. And, you know, we got to put that aside. At least I think so. Now we're moving forward. What do we know? They said one glove. Now they're saying gloves, plural. Still no, I don't have any evidence from New York Post or anything on Google or anything. There's two gloves. But assuming they're correct, there's two gloves. We're seeing one glove. It certainly looks like the glove on the very similar glove of the person who was at the door. We got a lot to unravel. The search is not where JLR is and some of the other local media is looking at. And I think it's going to be a nationwide search in that area. Is not on the property. I just want to be clear, clarify that. Okay. There's also a new video of Nancy when she was younger, Savannah, Nancy and the father, and Annie Guthrie. There's video of that. If you guys want to see that, I can put that up in between of them when they're younger. And the reason I want to bring that up, if you guys want to see it, let me know in the chat. I can bring it up. The reason that they're showing that video or the family is, think about it, why they're showing them when they were younger. I want somebody to take a guess. Is everybody listening? Why would they show? Let me see if I can bring it up. Why would they show about a 2-minute video of when they were very young? They had darker hair. Oh, you want to see it? They had darker hair. Think about why the FBI told Savannah or Amy or Annie, excuse me. I don't know why I get it mixed up. Annie, I apologize. Think why, when I find the video, why they suggested them to show it. Think why. It's important. Very important. Real. I know you guys are saying, how is that important? It is really important. Let me find that video. Let me get out of the news. Tell you why it's important. Second. New video of Savannah Guthrie and the family when they were younger. Where the hell is it? Would they take that down? I don't know why. I don't know why I can't find that. That's crazy. It's so crazy. Is this it? That's 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Anyhow, they'll show it. I can't find it for some reason. It's a video. They'll play it. I'm sure by the time we're off. I would say they would show it soon. It's a video of the family. I'm trying to look for it, but for some reason I can't find it. All right. I got to get a fan on, guys. Hold on. All right. So real quick, the reason they put that video, we all have now. And by the way, I thought, how did they get that video? We didn't have video cameras in the 1970s, right? Well, we did. We did have videos in the 1970s. You guys remember? My mom had one. My mom had one. May she rest in peace. It was those big cameras, you know, and you had a screen. Do you guys remember the screens? You had a screen, and my mom used to video me in baseball. They had video back then in the maybe not the 70s, but the 80s. 70s, but I think, you know, with all this AI now, let's assume it wasn't a big camera. I think it was. Assume they just had Polaroid. Remember Polaroid? Maybe they just put the pictures together. They could do anything these days, and you can form a video, but this was a video. I wish I can bring it up. But nonetheless, you get what I mean. It was them when they were younger. I would said 14 years old, and it had a photo of Annie, Savannah, and the brother. Forget the brother's name. And the father, I believe. Father who fought in the war. World War II. Anyhow, reason they showed that video is this. If it was a family member, a little bit of my psychology, if it was a family member, assuming it was Annie or Savannah or Annie's husband, okay, Tommaso, that would bring back, they're watching it. If I'm saying allegedly if it was a family, and I can be completely wrong. They're watching that when they were younger. You know, when you watch, you look at photos of your younger, you say, oh my God, I have more hair, this and that. You go back in time and you say, oh, we were so beautiful. Stay with me, guys. Look at us, a beautiful family, 14 years old, 17. I wish I can find a video. They'll show it. Now, if the person did it, they start to really feel emotional. They feel emotional and guilty, assuming it was one of the family members or the brother. So now he or she makes mistakes. They say something. I miss mom, and they cry. And Savannah gets a clue. Savannah feels like, for an example, Savannah's not the one. What's going on? And they start crying. It hits them. They cry. I seen that video. And they say something to each other. Am I getting too confusing? And I'm assuming it's Amy who knew about it. She knew her husband did. Let's just play like a little bit of a clue. And this is not a game. We hope that she's found, but I'm playing like a detective here. Now she says something to Savannah that, could it be her? She said something that only she would know, that led to the gloves. Could be something about the glove or something. Now Savannah turns into the FBI detectives. Doesn't mean she's guilty, but maybe now they can have a much bigger lead. And they are still back at Annie's house again today. So I'm still leaning towards that direction. I'm not sure if Annie's involved, but certainly you got to still look at the suspect who dropped off this woman. And that woman was dropped off at 9:48 after a dinner. So that's what I think why they're showing that video. What's your thoughts? It could be a complete another reason. Maybe they just want to show the public on how sad it is. I don't think so. I think it's what I said. Let's see here. I watched the video. It was Annie and Savannah with their mom, and they were about 6 or 7. Okay, thanks for correcting me. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, Stella Bell, thank you for sharing that. I only seen it like once this morning, and I'm looking for it, and I can't find it. I think you're right. They were much younger. I think I said 14, 15, whatever. So, but that's my thoughts. It brings people back in time is what I'm trying to make a point. It brings you back in time. You know, we go back in time. Like when we lose loved ones. I lost my mom. We go back in time. We look at photos. And in this situation, the sister's alive of Annie and Savannah. And I think that's the reason they showed it. I don't think they're showing it to the public. What other reason why would they show that video? The only thing I can think of is, well, here's our mom. They would look at all this themselves. Why would they put it on national TV? It doesn't make sense why another reason they would show that to all of us, you know, on there. Oh, could be, Sandra. Excellent point. Could be. Yeah, but I still think Could be. I think it's close to the family. Look, we haven't seen anything but this area. They're just going to home, the neighbors, to the marsh, to the gas station, to this area. They're not going anywhere outside except for that 40-mile drive we seen on February 10th to Carlos. That's it. And that was a lead according to his eyes. Which, by the way, I looked at Carlos' eyes and that suspect eyes through the mask. They don't look like, for me, the same eyes at all. So I don't know what they were getting from that. But we're going to move on. Let's go back to here. Let's see what we got here. They're looking and they're looking. Everybody's looking here.
Pretty cool. Got the drones.
They got drones in the sky.
Drone up. So then you could see, like, you got the thing and the controller and everything like that. Nice.
That's the guy with the drone. There's people with drones. The news has drones. You know, with all these drones now, to get a bird eye view of the top of everything in that area. Yeah, I still think there's one person. Excuse me, Cindy, I agree with you. I think there's two. Or I think there's 100%. I mean, there's 100%. I think there's two, and one person knows kind of deal. Could be three. He's setting up the drone here. You got to get the drone in the sky.
Before you take off, you gotta make sure you get enough satellites.
He's going to show us how you set up a drone, guys. Look at that.
That's your satellite indication right there.
Yeah, let me get on over your head.
Sure. Yeah, as soon as you get 10 satellites or above, you're clear to go.
Sorry, a little glare.
Forward.
I'm sorry. It's hard to see with it. Just can you record the footage?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, record it and then we'll look at it.
It's being recorded.
Okay.
That's pretty wild stuff, guys. Only on live. Amazing on live YouTube. Amazing how far we come, huh? To cover some of these cases right on the palm of our hands on our phones. We can either lay in our bed, sit in our backyard, or even at a restaurant and watch an ongoing case, see all this and hope for the best for the family, closure for the family, or that amazing, great story of finding Nancy alive.
Hold on, I gotta take a call real quick.
All right, he's going to work his drone out. I don't want to show too much of the drone on the video. We'll take a little break, go back and forth. I know I'm reading some comments. Why Annie? Hey, guys, if we have 333 in here, last night we had 600. I bring that up for another reason. If it's 284 in here now, if you ask 284 of us, including my family or people who really have interest in this, you're going to get 284 different answers. It's how wide open this is, right? There's people on here who believe I am wrong and that maybe Carlos is still involved. I say no. There's people who think Annie is completely innocent. Why would she do this? It's her mom. There's people who say, people do strange things, even when they love somebody for money. If it was for money, some people are thinking it's not money. I'm one of those people who think it's probably not even about money. I still think it could be because they just somehow Savannah covered a story. You see what I'm saying? There's so many different takes on this. Even the gloves, plural now. JLR or JRL. Yeah, the drone. We're watching the drone. Thanks, Chris. Hey, welcome in, Chris. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you, members, guys. We appreciate all of you in the memberships, and we certainly, me and my wife, Maribel, says it's not on notice for the donations and the memberships that we get so we can forward to the homeless. Speaking, I had a meeting today, just canceled. I'm getting off topic here, but we do help the homeless, and I'm a little aggravated because I was getting closer on researches for the homeless people, and they canceled a meeting. And it was right after I said I had to go to a meeting. I hope they didn't read too much into it and maybe think that I was all kinds of stuff going through my head. But nonetheless, thank you so much. We got a high five, fist bump. Thank you. Big Roger 4375. Appreciate that. Thank you. They're on a commercial break or an ad break. So what I was saying is 325 people, you're going to get all different kinds of views on this, you know. It's so widespread, so wide open, depending on what media covers, what detective. We have listened to at least 50 different detectives from different news outlets, from CNN, from Fox, from News Nation, from reporters that we've covered live. And some are very similar, what they think, and others aren't. It's crazy. But what's not crazy is somebody did this crime. Somebody took an innocent 84-year-old woman who I believe is not involved. I even heard, without mentioning any names, that they thought that the mom herself was involved. Not true. Okay, he's showing us the... Oh, look at this. Pretty cool. Live TV here. That is the drone. Look how that works. Welcome in, Fabian. Thank you. Thank you, Fabian, our moderator. Look how that drone works. If you're just coming in, guys, you are seeing live YouTube of a drone. Heavy Hook. It wouldn't be alive without you in here, my friend. I mean that. Thank you for being here. Heavy Hook.
Get this footage over here. This one keeps it. Okay.
Once again, guys, if you're just coming in now, this moment, there is a search for evidence leading to the crime of Nancy Guthrie. It's been day 12. Can you believe day 12? We've been covering this over and over. Appreciate you, my friend Fabian. Thank you. Let me just turn the camera around real quick and say hello to a good friend of mine. Let me just turn the camera around real quick and say hello to the one and only Fabian. Thank you for being here, Fabian, for a little bit. Appreciate it. I know you're busy with your channel and a lot of other stuff. We appreciate you joining in for a few minutes. Who else I want to say hi to real quick as they set up the drone? Heavy Hook. Great to see, and I really mean that. Feel your energy from behind the scene. I already said hello to the moderator, Crystal and Mike, and Janine's here. New York here, number one. And we have Sandra dropping a donation for the channel. Thanks for all you do and help the homeless. I was in that position a while back. First of all, Sandra, thank you so much for your support and everything you do on here, and your support for certainly the donation and everything you do on this channel and helping out. And I've been there too. And I will have a story sooner than later on my being homeless for a brief period of time in my life. So thanks for sharing that, Sandra, with us. We appreciate all that. Once again, not much to see now. They were just showing us on the drone on how it sets up. That was pretty wild. I never was behind a drone or seen how that works or anything like that. So once again, we were watching JLR investigate. If you haven't subscribed or watched his channel, he's a stand-up guy. He's opened up his live. He doesn't have to do that and give the okay for us to analyze and watch his live. He's been there for 12 days, and he's doing a great job, along with some other YouTubers who have been boots on ground, so to speak, and are doing a fantastic job. I still think that the independent live YouTubers on situations like this, in my opinion, I feel that there's more of us. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I like on how they analyze it. I don't want to knock Fox or CNN on it, but it's kind of getting old When I say old, I've said this before. I'm going to bring a point real quick as the drone's flying in the sky. It's great to see one of us just reporting, making some mistakes, but showing us and giving our perspective, and all of us in the live chat, our perspective on a situation, in this case, like a crime scene or whatever. Here's the drone, guys. So thank you for being here. Look at that. That's the drone. I'm assuming it's over Nancy's house or in that area. Selden, thank you. I recognize a lot of names. Here's the gentleman here who's flying a drone. Look at that.
Catchable or no?
I've never flew a drone or seen anything, so pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I know a lot of you are watching say Sal, no big deal. I've done it, but I've never seen it. So it was
Well, I don't have a computer on me.
Oh, I thought you had a laptop.
No, I didn't bring a laptop.
he didn't bring his laptop, if you guys didn't hear.
What's your phone number?
It's Annie's neighborhood. Okay. Thank you. Annie's neighborhood. So what do you guys think? I'm gonna lower the
Just call your number.
no disrespect to JLR. I just don't want to have any talking over him. YouTubers are making a huge impact. I think so. I think in a lot of cases, I mean, it could be overwhelmed sometimes with YouTube and live and all that. But a lot of different. Without getting too much into it, off topic. But I think in this, who's this guy? I think in this situation, I rather watch an independent journalist, do the coverage. Whether it's somebody like me. And here's the thing about it, guys. If I can just say this. If you had 10 YouTubers out here, right? I want everybody to hear me out. You will have 10 people on different YouTube because of a couple reasons. Well, one is they want to see, maybe different views, different things, but they want to hear a different voice. Even me, people are going to get tired of my voice, hop onto another voice, maybe, and also, it gets really repetitive when you hear CNN or Fox or Newsmax. It's changed, folks. It's changing before our eyes. Do you understand? Everything is changing. I mean, look, drones, AI, boots on grounds, independent journalists. Look at Nick Shirley, for an example, guys. I'm getting off topic a little bit. I'm just trying to bring a point if I could. Nick Shirley goes to Minnesota and, unravels, in his opinion, the amount of fraud that's happening, right? And he beat Fox, CNN, Newsmax. He went there and he did his research. A young 24-year-old, 25-year-old. And so what I'm saying is, it's coming down to our phones, our laptops, our iPads. And somebody was waving to the reporter. So they're in that neighborhood, as a Heavy Hook said. They're in that neighborhood. And they are going to hope, again, I think you're going to have probably a lot of volunteers. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of today, you're going to see a lot of volunteers in that desert and the neighborhoods looking in between the neighborhoods. I think the FBI is going to give the okay. Hey, it's hit that point. They're not going to tell the reporters. They're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell the volunteers what they know. But they're going to probably say, hey, get your cell phone, dress. We might have some rain in the forecast. Yes, it does rain in Arizona. Get ready. Get your phones ready. Do not touch anything. If you see something, hear something, stop and text this number. I think that's what you're going to have. Text, take a photo, do not touch anything, and a reward of, there's a big reward. But you know what, guys? I know people want the money, but a lot of people do certainly want answers. So I think you're going to have a nationwide, as they add to a couple ads, search. I think you're going to have that. I think you're going to have that today. And I also bring that up because that DNA of the glove will come back today, and they're going to want more information. Remember, folks, they did not find the backpack. They haven't found it. All we know it's been purchased by a local Walmart, I'm hearing. I don't know how true it is. I think I heard that from a news reporter, but don't quote me. I think it's a local Walmart. Maybe somebody on here who's from that area who's watching, welcome in. Welcome in. Can give us something. Is it a local Walmart? I'm hearing it was purchased, not called in on online. I heard it was purchased at a Walmart. And it was an Ozark Trail hiker. Ozark Trail hiker backpack purchased at a local Walmart. So, hopefully they'll get some camera footage or video surveillance and receipts. Well, not receipts, but credit card if they use the credit card. So, this shirt, I can't, I don't know. Macy's maybe? Yeah, right. Sal, they remember, they did say one glove. Now news are reporting, now running to. Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. That's kind of weird too. Heavy hook. Responding to the question that just came in a couple of comments of one glove, now two gloves. Very strange to me. Cameras in Walmart. Guys, I'm reading some comments respectfully. So you don't read the comments. I'm doing the very best I can. I'm trying to give you my perspective and point anyhow on there. If you really want to highlight a comment, highlight it. We'll donate that to the homeless. That's all I can say. So on there, I try to do the best I can. But if it's that important and you, I understand it is. I'm assuming it is. Then highlight it and. We'll pass it on to Fighting Homeless, as me and our moderator Mike would love to do. And once again, Mike is also, he doesn't get enough credit. He's behind the scenes. You don't see him. A great moderator, along with Crystal and Janine and Fabian and many others on here. But Mike in particular has been boots on ground with me, so to speak, from day one on here 90% of the time. So thank you. So yeah, if you want to get a point across and you want to, give it out to all of us and see it, then, a little donation only if you can afford it. All right. So we're back to the, looks like he's just still kind of like looking around the neighborhood, JLR. Nothing so much. We have, if you guys want to listen in to, nothing much is going on Fox right now. It looks like the president is speaking, but he's not speaking on this topic. So, and you know what? I don't want to mix things up. So, I'm not going to combine two together right now. If it was some like state of emergency on the nation, I would show it, but I'm not going to mix the two up. I promise I wouldn't do it on this investigation, and I'm going to stick to my word, but that's what I'm looking at. Unless it was revolving on this case. No disrespect to our President Trump. I'm just don't want to mix the two together. Once again, guys, what do we know today? Well, I need some water. All right, let's see what we got over here. I think it makes sense to me. You start mixing up things and it leads in a whole nother direction. All right, I'm going to go over a few things, and you guys can put earplugs who've heard this already, or, what do we know so far? We know the exact time now. Well, it's been the exact time. This is something they haven't really screwed up. There's one thing they didn't screw up. 9:48 in the morning. Or night, excuse me. Wow. 9:48 is when Nancy Guthrie was home with a family member. Remember, originally it wasn't a family member. It was Tommaso, the son-in-law. But now they're being very careful with the words and saying family member. So we'll say family member at 9:48, okay, on January 31st, 12 days ago. At 9:50 p.m., I know I said a.m., guys. I'm looking up. 9:50, 2 minutes later, the garage door closed. So they went through the garage. Garage door closed. They say they probably went through the garage. And that was 2 minutes. And then at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera was disconnected. Indeed, disconnected. So at 1:47 was the exact time the doorbell camera was disconnected. And I believe, again, if you're coming in, the FBI knows, are pretty confident who did this horrific crime. But they just can't put it together for the prosecution because they don't have the final piece. And that final piece could be the DNA back from the gloves, plural, or some kind of we're all adults on here. If you have small children, I'll give you guys a second, maybe not to hear this. And if you can't stand hearing it, maybe you want to mute it. Let's be my deepest prayers. And we are very well, miracles can happen. But I'm also thinking they're looking for a piece of the body by now. I mean, let's just be real, guys, right? And they're, so I think they know. I think the FBI knows. And they're just waiting. And I think it's going to come out real soon. And that's why they're going to probably have, they're going to ask for a nationwide search, or at least for the local area to go out and search. And I wouldn't be surprised they increase the reward. However, $60,000 reward, I think is a very generous reward. Oh, speaking of which, we'll go back to the Bitcoin, that one Bitcoin that we talked about last night. But for those who weren't on the live stream right now, this hour, the Bitcoin is worth approximately $55,000 to $60,000. How ironic! That's how much they were leading for a reward. I believe the reward's $50,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you have that to go with, and that's pretty much up to date. I'm missing a few other little things, but that's pretty much it as far as this Nancy Guthrie search that the whole world. We watched last night. We had people from Bahamas and all over the States and Europe and all over tuning in to the United States of America and wondering, does this stuff happen all the time? Well, the answer to that is no, not like this. Not 12 days, not ransom notes sent to TMZ. Yes, we have had abductions from kids. We have abductions of adults. And you probably look back, maybe even elderly people. But nothing like this for 12 days and ransom notes after ransom notes, 2 or 3 notes now coming in. One to local news outlet, one to TMZ. I still say it's bullshit, BS, because if you are a person that does the kidnapper, you will give that one 24-hour window, in my opinion, and say, here's what we have. You would send it to the family, probably one of the siblings, or the immediate family, if there was a husband and whoever. You would send that ransom note one time only, mailed from somewhere, saying I want $6 million, $1 million, whatever it is. You would not send it to TMZ. No disrespect to TMZ, but you would not send it to TMZ. You would not send it to CNN. You would not send it to Fox. You would send it to the family member and let them know, hey, we have your mom. She's alive. If you want to see something, send us part of the money. And then they would send part of the money and show a video. So this is all a hoax. Okay. I'm not saying Harvey's lying. That's all real. The letter's real. I'm saying whoever writing this is to try to throw us off. And that's why I say it's 2 people. Yes or no? 1 person or 2 people in this case. Suspects. 1 or 2 suspects or more. I think you have somebody who has the brains. 2 for sure. When I say the brains, you know what I mean. Somebody who's just good on words. I take that back. There's no brains in either one. I take that back. I'm going to call myself out. You know what I mean? Somebody who's good on, writing, who's good on the computer. Everybody's blessed. And then you have somebody who had the quote unquote muscle behind it, the toughness behind it. Not in a good way, guys. So I think that's 2 people. I think it's 2 people, and I think the FBI knows. I think the FBI knew about this. Probably they knew. I actually think they knew when they went after Carlos, but they weren't 100%. You know what I mean? It's almost like they probably knew right now, but they weren't 100%. Hey, we got to lead to Carlos. Maybe we're wrong kind of thing. You know what I mean? Let's go to Carlos. I think they know right now. I really do. I can be wrong too. I can be wrong. Maybe they don't know. Let's see here. I'll read some comments. All right. I know some people were getting a little upset. I wasn't reading comments. That person on the video in that doorway looks like a chump. Heavy Hook says, I agree with you, Sal. Welcome in, welcome in. Appreciate having everybody here, along with the members and the moderators and everybody helping me out along the way. You just know who you are, back and forth. We've been covering boots on ground and investigations and YouTubers and Fox News and CNN and News Nation. Thank you. Paul Brenner, 174. Appreciate you. I hope they find her, Alex. I think we are hoping for the miracle. And I know I said earlier, leave the room if you don't want to hear pieces of the body. I want to be also, prayers are very strong. I'm very into my faith without judging anybody. But you also have to come to a point where you have to meet and be realistic that we don't have why these things happen. I can't explain that. I want this to lead to another topic. I don't understand how kids are missing, why there's an explosion and people, why my mom just passed, why we have this. I don't want to make it that. I believe in God. That's me. I believe in prayers. Prayers can't hurt. Can't hurt. But we also got to come to our minds that she's probably unalive. We have to really think that she's probably unalive, and there might be, bad things out there, parts of the body, or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe she. But yeah, it's 12 days, folks. Without getting into all the details, let's just stop myself there. 12 days, not one day, but 12. So, very sad situation. Getting a lot of media coverage. I don't want this case to go cold. It would be a shame, and I don't think it will. And I know last night I'm going all over the place thinking it could go cold, but now what we know, I don't think it's going to go cold. We got here, no meds, no pacemaker, bad. Oh, speaking of the thank you for that comment. Beach life stop. Speaking of which, I didn't know this, but a pacemaker, assuming that she was deceased, let's say she lost her life in the first hour or two, the pacemaker can still continue to be operating. I heard that earlier from a doctor or somebody out there. I forget how long, so I don't want to say, but it can work. I think they said a little bit. So interesting on that too, just to put that out there. Janelle, thank you for that. Yeah, pacemakers work even after death. Yeah, I forget how long, Janelle, but I think they said they can work a little longer. So I wanted to put that out there. Hey, Chris, you rock. Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Not much to show right here. YouTubers, JLR just driving around. As we have reached a point now where we're waiting for DNA. We are waiting for a DNA on the gloves. Now it's 2 gloves. And so bizarre with that, huh? So bizarre. As Heavy Hook said about 20 minutes ago, 1 glove, then 2 gloves. So YouTubers driving around, not much on any of the news outlets, but I would assume things will break while we're live on the DNA. I think they should have a press conference, but he's heading back to Nancy's home. JLR is heading back to Nancy's home. He's back and forth covering this on live situation. First of all, Stella, welcome in. Pacemakers will continue working till the battery dies. Thank you. I think that's what it was. Who's that? Stella Bella? Stella Bella. First of all, Stella Bella, I love it. Stella Bella. Guys, I just want to throw a little... When I laugh, guys, we're laughing, trying to give a little entertainment as sad as this situation is. Stella Bella over here. Pacemaker will continue working until the battery dies. I think that's exactly what it was. And that is it. It will work until the battery dies. Thank you, Stella Bella. Chris, thank you. I appreciate letting us know, Chris. JRL is heading back to Nancy's house. He's going through the roads now. Here's a clip of it. Here is the clip right here. Hold on one second. Let me just see something here. I got another message coming in here, guys. Sorry. So yeah, JLR Investigates is now driving back to Nancy Guthrie's house. Need a press conference, yes. I'm getting quiet, guys. I got to read a message. I'm a personal trainer, guys. I have, and I also help out the homeless. And I got 2 or 3 messages coming in here. So you guys can interact with each other for about a minute. Just give me a minute if you could. I'll just keep the JLR on here. Thank you. I will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Sorry, guys, about that. Okay. All right, I'm back. Sorry, realized I forgot just for a second. We're live. Text speech Klein here. So yeah, I'm back, guys, here. If you're just coming in a little confused, we are watching a YouTuber here. He is going back, JLR is going back and forth between the families, Nancy Guthrie's house, and Tommaso, the son-in-law, and Annie's home. He's traveling around, also looking for clues, along with other independent journalists and news outlets, who is an ongoing investigation within a few miles of where this crime has been happened, hoping for the best to find Nancy alive. But also we've been speaking that we have to really gather our thoughts, because a lot of people get emotional on these things, that Nancy, could be unalive, and at this point looking for some evidence and clues. We still don't have a suspect. Remember that. I'm only giving you my perspective. I think at this point, and I can be 100,000% wrong, but I think the FBI are down to 1 or 2 people, or maybe 3 suspects at this point. And I think they're just waiting for that DNA. I think they probably got the DNA already, but they're not going to let us know. That's a little blurry there, so I'm going to turn the camera back to me. Oh, wait a minute. It's not that bad. Well, yeah, I don't. Oh, there it is. He fixed it.